This podcast contains discussions of mature themes, including violence, which may not be suitable for all audiences. Please proceed with caution. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello everybody, welcome to Dark Talk, extra special bonus episode this week. As ever, I'm your host Dan, and I'm joined only by Paul this week. Paul, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Well, I'm a little bit nervous because I am flying to Morocco tomorrow, and I hate flying, so I'm spending the entire night sweating and panicking about the flights. But yeah, otherwise I'm okay.
Yeah, I have been on a plane with you before, and I distinctly remember you shitting your pants. Literally shitting your pants.
Yeah,
So,
it was a mess. It was awful. It was awful.
Yeah.
I'm banned from 3 airlines for that.
Yeah, I had to help him clean up and everything because I felt so bad about it. But yeah.
Anyway,
Nice.
enough of the flying shit talk. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Cheers. Yeah, been watching quite a bit recently. Actually, if you want to talk about some of the things we've seen,
Yeah, go for it.
I watched a film the other day called Horde, which is a British film about a mother who is a hoarder, and she basically just lives with her daughter, and her daughter's about 6, and
Yeah.
they live in absolute squalor, and it's really I really enjoyed it. Definitely, it was a thinker, I would say. Like, I found myself thinking about it quite a bit afterwards, you know.
I was going to say, I've just typed in Horde movie into Google, and I don't think what's popped up is what you're talking about. Because this one's called The Horde. It's French, and it's an end-of-the-world battle between gangsters, cops, and zombies.
That sounds pretty good, to be fair. I might have to look for that, actually. I also watched another really good British film from 2008, I would say. And I think it is, if not his actual first film, one of Michael Fassbender's first films, his 6th film or something. And it's called Fish Tank. And it is about... It's a British film about...
I've seen it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Did you...
He moves into a house with a flat with this family, and he starts being a paedophile to the girl. Have I got that right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I saw that a while back. Yeah,
It's
pretty gross.
Pretty gross. Good film otherwise, though, I would say. Good look at like what Britain does look like, you know, in some parts of the country, some parts of England and Wales and Scotland. I also watched... Go on, sorry.
Before you move on, I really like the lead actress from that. Is it Kirsten Waring? I think she's absolutely brilliant. She plays the mum in that film. She's great.
Oh, the mum, yeah. What have I seen her in before? She's
been in everything, but she was in EastEnders for a little bit, and she was in Top Boy. She turns up.
Yeah, Top Boy is what I was thinking of. I actually haven't seen Top Boy, but I did know she was in that. She was in Hollyoaks as well, apparently.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
She's really good, actually. She played like a really shitty mum. Yeah.
typical British mother.
Yeah, exactly. Gives a fag laugh. Oh, shit. So, I watched the new Final Destination film as well.
Yeah, how's you get on with that? I haven't seen it yet.
Imagine you are watching Final Destination 5. It's exactly the same. They don't really do anything new apart from one small bit, but it really doesn't even matter. It's just fucking shit, basically. But I wouldn't discourage anyone from watching it because it's entertaining. It's alright.
I think with those films, I think the first one was a really cool, brand new idea, and I also really like the second one as well. And then by the time the third and fourth ones come out, I just go, oh god, these are terrible. Especially that fourth one. Some of that.
Oh my god, that's
I watched the one with the race cars, the NASCAR.
That's the fourth one, yeah.
So I watched a documentary about that a couple of years ago, and most of the effects in that scene are practical. But because they've used so much like computer generated effects, it just came out looking like a load of crap at the end. So not bothered.
Yeah, that's the worst one. This new one was better than that one, but it was like number 5 had the twist at the end, which was like a pretty good watch actually. Number 5, I really like number 3 with the roller coaster and all that. I like that one. 2, I didn't care about that much. And the first one was originally made as an X-Files episode. If you didn't know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
you can tell though. Now you've mentioned it. Yeah,
it was supposed to be. I know this isn't a podcast about Final Destination today, but it was supposed to be Mulder and Scully getting on the plane, and Scully's brother, I think it was supposed to have the premonition, and then everything. The explosion was going to happen once they're off the plane, and then the episode would be them investigating it. But apparently, he took it to X-Files, and was it James Wan? He was like, "This is too good. This needs to be a film."
My favourite from the whole franchise. I prefer the first film, but I think that that pile-up from the second film, the events at the start, that is just fucking awesome. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Yeah. The intro to the new one is actually quite good. It's quite a good scenario, and it's quite.
I think I might have seen it. Is it from the trailer? Are they on that old building in the 50s? Is it?
Yeah, it's like a
Chicago.
It's like a tower with the needle thing with the root, the restaurant on the top. It's pretty good. Pretty good. That's all I'll say.
We shouldn't be talking about Final Destination films, 12 hours before I'm due to catch films.
Just watch it tonight and just get over your fears and just...
No, I'm going to, I'll be on the plane, I'll be looking at, like loose screws and, rickety ladders and any little noise I hear. I'm going to be...
If you ring me tomorrow and you're like, Paul, the plane's going to explode, and, the feds are after you.
The worst thing about going on holiday on a plane is because... You have to do it twice, so you fly there, and then all holiday, I'm shitting myself about flying back. I hate it.
Get some sleeping tablets down here and just snooze it.
Yeah, well, the flight's at 6 a.m, so I'm staying awake. I got up at 6 a.m. this morning, so by the time the plane takes off, I will have been awake for 24 hours, and I'm planning on getting really drunk at the airport, so I'll pass out and wake up in sunny Marrakesh.
Nice. I was going to go to Morocco, actually. But I think we're looking at Croatia now. So this is Holiday Talk. Welcome to Holiday Talk.
This is Wish You Were Here.
Darling, hold my
Place in the sun.
Amazing.
Anyway, we've talked about films, the Final Destination films, which are films that we do like. How about we talk about... How about we talk about the film that we're here to talk about tonight? So I'm going to get us into it. So, Paul... Tonight we are here to discuss from WWE Studios, See No Evil from 2006, directed by Gregory Dark and starring a bunch of jobbers and Kane.
I was actually going to make a joke saying that I watched Speak No Evil instead, and I was going to try and fucking get you with it this time. But yeah, I sent you the theme tune that I made today, which had a sample from this film, so I couldn't get it going. Yeah.
Well, I woke up this morning and I hadn't seen the film, so I played that sample, and it was 30 seconds long before the Dark Talk music started playing, and I was like, "What the hell is this music he's crap, royalty-free." I don't even know how to describe it.
It's fucking shit. That's how you can describe it.
Well, it's got a lot in common with the film because, spoiler alert, this film, you've just said how I feel about this film.
Yeah. Since we've mentioned the music, why don't we talk about who made the music?
Oh, it's Tyler Bate.
Tyler Bates. Or Bates.
It's Tyler Bates, I think. Tyler Bate is a wrestler.
So I saw his name at the beginning, and I spent the whole film thinking... Yeah, I spent the whole film thinking that the wrestler had made this music all the way through. I was like, no wonder this music's shit. And then I looked it up afterwards, and I was like, oh, yeah, no, he's got a really good back catalogue. So why is this film so shit? But yeah.
No, Tyler Bates did... he did all the John Wick music, I think, which I think is some of the best music on any film. I listen to that constantly.
Yeah, he's done a lot of good shit, to be fair.
Dawn of the Dead, 300, Sucker Punch, the Rob Zombie Halloweens he did as well, yeah.
He's done a lot of video games and that as well, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. According to this, he's done God of War and Far Cry, Call of Duty, yeah, so...
Yeah.
Pretty big, pretty hefty CV that he's got here. Yeah, so I'm going to start now. So when...
Okay.
Was this a first-time watch for you? Because it was for me.
Yeah, I remember it coming out and remember thinking, I am ever going to watch that fucking shit.
So let's talk about it. So anyone that's listened to this podcast in the past will know that me and you are big wrestling fans. Grew up watching it, watched it all our lives, basically, still do to this day. Now, I remember, so this was released in 2006 on... Can you tell me what day it was released? What was the date it was released?
Was it like May 13th or something like that?
May 19th.
Yeah. 19th, right.
So WWE were running a story at the time where Kane, the wrestler and star of this film, was obsessed with the date May 19th. Anytime somebody would mention the date May 19th, Kane would go insane and beat 7 bells of shit out of them. What did he do? I think somebody was forcing Shawn Michaels to wrestle in a t-shirt that said May 19th on it, so it would make Kane angry, red back to a bull. But then I think Michaels knocked out whoever it was that was forcing to wear the t-shirt, put that t-shirt on the bad guy, and then when Kane came down, Kane beat the shit out of Eric Bischoff or whoever it was. Yeah. So yeah, and for Kane, this all led basically nowhere. He started hearing voices that would be saying May 19th, it's all over on May 19th, and basically what happened was an imposter Kane turned up, played by Luke Gallows in worst wig you'll ever see. It's terrible. And the whole storyline was forgotten about once the movie had been released, and nobody cared anymore, and they just pressed a hard reset on the Kane character.
I listened to something, a couple of hour long podcast about that Kane versus Kane story, because as a kid I loved Taker versus Taker, and I know looking back on it, no one likes it. It is shit, but I loved that as a kid. I'm still fascinated by doppelgangers and all that kind of stuff. So I loved it. So the idea of an imposter Kane is amazing to me, but they just picked the guy who's smaller than him, wearing the most obvious looking wig, which I'll give them the credit, they did fix it. I think the second time it came out and then on, they did fix it, because they were like, apparently Luke Gallows was in the back saying, you need to wet the wig. It needs to be wet like Kane's hair. And they were like, no, there's no time. And they just sent him out. And it's huge. It's like a fucking... Oh,
it's like an afro. It's just so stupid looking.
Oh, my God, yeah. It's all... And the fact that he's just a lot smaller than Kane just made it like so... I don't know. It's like, you might as well dress like
terrible.
Shawn Michaels up as him and pretend it's Kane, you know. The size difference was just too much.
It was, I remember Kane cutting a promo about who the imposter was. Somebody was interviewing Kane saying, who is this guy? What's going on? And Kane said, oh, I know him from my time back when I lived in an institution. If you think I'm sick, this guy is so twisted. And it was just so the imposter Kane defeated the real Kane at a pay-per-view. I forget which. Could have been SummerSlam, something like that. And the imposter Kane was never seen ever again. So that was
the ending of it was the real Kane attacking him in the back.
Yes.
Grabbing the mask and wig off and throwing him, saying, "This belongs to me," or some shit like that. And then you just see his bald head fly through the door, the imposter. But he's got the shiniest pink head, as he goes flying through it, and then Kane's just holding the mask, yeah. And that was the official end of it.
I think the original plan was the imposter Kane, Luke Gallows, would come out dressed in the old Kane costume, and it was going to be revealed that this imposter Kane wearing the mask was the real Kane from 3-4 years ago, and the Kane who unmasked in 2003 or 2002, whenever it was an imposter. So the bald Kane, slow chemical Kane that we knew for the past 3 years was going to be revealed to be an imposter, and this would have been the return of the real Kane. Yeah, I'm not against dumb, stupid wrestling storylines like that, because wrestling is inherently a stupid thing to enjoy. But the execution was just terrible. It's just terrible.
It was. I mean, like if they had any long-term plans for that idea, why would they pick a man who has got tattoos down his left arm, specifically the arm that everyone could see, who is bald and who is arguably a lot smaller? I know Luke Gallows is a big dude. If we saw him in the street, he'd tower over me especially. But
he's fucking huge.
He's a massive guy.
Like 6'6".
Yeah, but Kane made him look small because Glenn Jacobs is a monster, isn't he?
So this is a first time watch for us, but we've been aware of this film for since, what's that now? That's 18,
19 years.
19 years old.
19 years, almost 10 days ago.
10. Yeah. So this was produced by WWE Films, which was later rechristened WWE Studios, which has given us such classics like The Condemned, starring Stone Cold Steve Austin. I actually like that film. I've only seen it once, but I actually thought it was quite...
Is that the one with Vinnie Jones?
12. It's Steve Austin versus Vinnie Jones in Battle Royale.
Fucking hell. It's not bad. It's not bad.
12 Rounds with John Cena. The Marine with John Cena. And The Chaperone with Triple H. I think there's a bunch of others. Knucklehead with The Big Show. All kinds of just terrible, low-level action films. Basically, they would just get a WWE star, put them in the film, and they'd find some sort of mid to low-level character actor to play the villain. It's like Bruce Dern or...
Vinnie Jones.
Vinnie Jones, yeah, basically, yeah. So this... what do you... We'll talk about the plot. So go on.
Before you do, I do remember watching one. It was Randy Orton, and he was a fireman, and he, but I think he saved a girl from a gang or something, and the film went on like that. But I remember watching it on a Friday morning because Sky used to put new films on Friday mornings, and I was working nights and I finished work on a Friday morning, and I whacked it on, and I fell asleep within about 10 minutes. Because it was shit. It was so bad.
Here's a bit of trivia for you. Randy Orton was originally cast to play the John Cena's role in The Marine.
Okay.
But because Orton was a Marine in real life, but because he went AWOL, received a dishonourable discharge. Try telling Randy Orton what to do. Can you imagine? The US Marine Corps found out that he was going to be starring in a film called The Marine, and WWE doesn't bow to a lot of people, but it always bows to the US military. So they knocked Orton on the head and got John Cena. That's why Cena does the salutes. It's when he stopped being a rapper and started being a guy that salutes and wears camo shorts.
I hate that fucking salute so much. And the shorts.
So before we get into the plot of this film, I just want to ask you, what do you think about the way this film looks?
So, my immediate thought, the first thing I noticed was that they are trying to be like Saw. They're doing that quick shot, quick build-up music to show maggots and flies. It almost reminded me a bit of Seven or something, like the intro for Seven, but it was 100% copying Saw in that style, and it continues throughout the film. And other than that, though,
you think actually Saw is at its absolute peak at this point, isn't it? So we've had Saw 1, Saw 2. I think this is the year of Saw 3, and then sort of style is in.
Yeah,
for me, it reminds me of. I thought it was very clever when I came up with this. It's very apt that a lot of people in this film are eyeless, because this reminds me of a Slipknot video. Woo! Yeah. I just hate the way this looks. They've dropped the colour slider down so low, it may as well just be in black and white. It's so crap looking and cheap looking.
It would actually look better if it was in black and white, to be fair.
Yeah, it would. It's like all them Platinum Dunes films, from that sort of era. They just all look soulless and crap. Yeah. Ugh.
Grainy and dirty.
And I don't think a single shot in this film lasts more than 10 seconds. I think I counted about 2, and I thought, but otherwise it's instantly to the next shot within seconds, which is a lot like WWE's camera work, basically. Just nausea-inducing. Migraine, bring it on.
They've calmed down with that recently. They don't do that as much anymore.
They have, yes. They have. That's because Kevin Dunn got fired last year, because he's the guy responsible for all that shit.
Oh, I hate stuff like that. I hate it in films, hate it in... I don't even like blinking that much, you know what I mean? Like, because blinking kind of gives you the same effect. Like, yeah, I fucking hate it. It's awful.
Right, should we get into the lore of this film?
Yeah.
Should we get into
why not?
the stories? So we open up and these two cops arrive at this shitty looking house with candles, crucifixes. I thought it was a church at first. They find a girl who has been absolutely mutilated. She's had her eyes removed. I thought that looked pretty cool. You know, it gave me a bit of false hope. Actually, I thought that doesn't look too bad. I was cautiously optimistic at this point. I thought, oh, maybe this is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yes. One cop gets hacked to death by a giant bald man with an axe, while the second cop, Frank, loses an arm to the assassin, manages to fire off one shot, and then the giant Uncle Fester looking dude just disappears, and that's our pre-credits for this film. We get a lot of Halloween style news reporter exposition explaining what's happened and what's been going on in this house, who the killer is, how many victims they found, how many bodies are there. A load of shite basically.
But just before that opening scene, there is a small little bit that happens. It's during the credits. The credit font, by the way, is the most amateur-looking shit ever. It's like it's just white text, but it's like kind of crumbly and like moldy looking. But it's so like the way that it's on the screen. It looks like a 12-year-old has done it using like Windows 97.
On the end credits, it's
fucking awful. But there is a tiny opening bit where it shows the little kid, and it shows a bunch of beetles and all that. And Mike, do you know what my first thought was? When it showed the kid, I thought, that's got to be Kane.
Oh, I'm going to allow me to splice that clip in.
I am here all night.
That's gotta be Kane! That's gotta be Kane!
Oh dear, oh dear. Dear, oh dear. So I was going to talk about that at the end when we find out about Jacob Goodnight's backstory.
Jacob Goodnight.
I'm going to call him Kane through the film. I'm not calling him Jacob Goodnight. That's fucking dumb. They don't even call him that in the film. I don't think his name's I think somebody does mention his name at the end. But
the cop shouts him at one point. Yeah. Do you know what? Like, I can imagine the thought process of the creators. Like, he needs like an iconic name, like, you know, like Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger. So they thought of, I don't know if they just went from Glenn Jacobs to Jacob, which is fine. Jacob's quite a cool name. Yeah. And then Goodnight. Trying to like create a memorable, iconic, name, but it just fucking sucks.
It's got something to do with the title, I think, because it's like it was originally meant to be titled "I Scream a Man," as in EYE, as in the optical parts of your body. And then it was changed to the Goodnight Man, and then it was called Goodnight, and then they settled on See No Evil, which I think is probably the best out of those bad titles.
No, it's just so cliche. It's shite.
I mean, it doesn't really mean anything. Like, I mean, I don't know. I guess you take.
I suppose it links. Yeah, it links into the story of the religious element and the fact that he takes people's eyes out and all that dog shit. But
I think we've just given it more thought than anybody that was involved in actually making this film. They don't. There was no effort put in this fucking.
No. Earlier you said all the cast are like a bunch of jobbers, and I completely agree. Which is why we're not doing a recast. However, I came up with an idea which I think will be a little bit fun and better than trying to remember their show names. So we'll call Kane because that's who he is. The girl with the tattoos, we'll call her Lita because she looks just like Lita. And I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted Lita to play the role and she said no. So they got someone who looked like her.
Oh, well, he got her pregnant in storyline, didn't he? Years ago.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
That was around the same time, wasn't it?
It was a couple of years before, and she lost the baby when Gene Snitsky hit Kane with a chair, and Kane landed on Lita, and she lost the baby. And in the room while Lita's having a miscarriage of Kane's demon spawn, it's being televised to the entire world that she's had a miscarriage. This WWE, ladies and gentlemen. All the while, Kane is screaming, "No!" Sorry, we're going off on a tangent here, but that did lead to one of my favourite WWE moments ever. Is Gene Snitsky coming out with a baby doll, pretending it's Lita's baby, and then he just running punts this doll into the audience. It's amazing. Please go look it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, go on. So we've got Kane, we've got Lita.
We've got the blonde girl is going to be called Ric Flair. The hippie girl is Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Why?
Because they'll be easy to remember. The bully guy is going to be called Ricky Steamboat.
Are you making these up off the top of your head?
Yes, I am. Yes, I didn't plan this. I just thought it'd be better to know.
I didn't think I can't remember the guy's name, but he's the guy that is. He goes off for a bit of love making with the animal rights activist. He looks exactly like a Spanish James Franco.
I would like to agree, but I can't remember what he looks like.
Well, basically, these teenagers, the stakes have never been lower for me because I have no idea who any of these people were. It's just, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So we fast forward to 4 years later, and a much older looking Frank, the cop that survived and had his arm hacked off, is now a prison guard or a rehabilitation officer or something. He's supervising a 3-day release program for some young offending lads, and there's another one with 4 girls from a different prison. And if they spend 3 days renovating an old hotel on the bad side of town into a homeless shelter, they will have a month cut from their sentences. And yeah, like I said just then, this group of teens, the stakes have never been lower because I couldn't remember their names when I was writing notes. I'm going to struggle to remember their names during this recording. Yeah, I've already forgotten who you've already rechristened them as, but yeah, I'm definitely going with Lita for.
We'll call them by different names as we go on, shall we? One thing I did note though that the bully guy is actually called Michael, and apparently that's a throwback to Michael Myers.
Oh, fuck off!
Apparently so. Apparently it is, yeah. Because I listened to a thing yesterday. I was trying to find a bit of information on this, and usually I'll go on like YouTube and find some reviews, that kind of thing, and no one's fucking reviewed it. It's like there was one that was 3 minutes long. There was one that was about 8 minutes long, and the guy was just making jokes about himself the whole time. But I did find it was like how they made it kind of thing. I think it was made by WWE, and the director talks in it, and he talks about how he was influenced by Friday the 13th, late 70s, 80s slashers. And obviously
I don't give a shit what the director says about what he's influenced by. If he was influenced by that stuff, he would have made a better film. This just fuck off with that. It's a nod to Michael Myers. Fuck.
Don't fucking blame me. This is what I heard anyway.
Oh God! Do you know what we get when all these kids are on the prison bus? It freeze frame of their face and it goes to black and white. We see what crime they've committed, and it's like shoplifting, dealing drugs, and one girl set a load of dogs free from the pound. But that plays into her death later on.
Do you know what? Right, when it shows those freeze frame bits, it did 2 lads. And then it just carried on with the film, and I pissed myself because I thought they were just going to carry on with the film, and it just did those 2, and then obviously it went on to do the rest of them. But then I was sitting there, and then it did the girl on the bus, the Latina girl, and when she freeze frames, she's looking this way, and then it does the freeze, but then she's looking directly into the camera, and I spat out my drink, and I instantly rewound it because it was fucking funniest thing. Oh my God, it was so funny. And it happens twice as well.
Gregory Dark, ladies and gents. Gregory Dark.
Do you remember the music that played during that scene as well? It's the one.
It's the music that you'll hear on the intro.
It's so bad.
I had written down in my notes, what is this music?
It's so
something
funny.
else.
It's funny.
Yeah, so they're going to get time shaved off their sentences for good behaviour, basically. I don't know. This you can't even call these people dislikable because they're just so they're just absolute NPCs. The dialogue is the most Chat GPT put together. Oh, like Michael, the arsehole, is just like so over the top with being a dick. You know?
Yeah.
But like, it's not even funny. It's just like, again, it's just written by Chat GPT 20 years before the fact.
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
So we get a side plot. So we've got Richie, who I can't remember his crime, and Ty, and I think his crime was grand larceny, but he's somehow a safecracker. And Richie, despite being in prison, despite being in county jail, has somehow got the blueprints to this hotel that they're going to, and knows the location of the safe where not all the money from the hotel was stored before it burned down, and they're going to go and liberate it and be rich together. And I thought, where the hell did this... One, where did he get the blueprints from? Two, those blueprints would be like 100 years old, because that hotel is like from the 1920s, so it would have been built like in the 1910s. And then like later on, you see the blueprints he's got. He's got like a printed out web page, like, inkjet. I thought, oh my god, this is blueprints, my ass.
I think his crime was that he was like a computer hacker or something.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, so like that's the implication, that he's like the brainy, nerdy guy who would obviously have a plan like this to find a safe in this fucking place. Do you know what though? That was potentially the most interesting story in this whole thing. Them Scooby-Dooing around this haunted building. I was like, when that bit gets interrupted, which we will get to shortly, I was a little bit gutted, because I was like, I want to see these two try and find the safe and then see if they find the money and stuff.
Yeah, I'd say that's quite a... It's just, this film is just so rushed, like, not even in a good way. It's not 0 to 60 in a good way. It's 0 to 60 just... And they skip a load of cool stuff that could have been great. Well, could have been okay. So I'm not going to say great.
Yeah, I would have just preferred an entirely different film with just those two guys looking for a safe.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
I'd argue that they're the two most likeable members of the cast, because everyone else is a complete bellend in this film. As we will get to. So yeah, instantly their quest to find the safe is interrupted when Kane emerges in the secret passage built into the wall and drags Richie away by swinging a big hook on a chain and like capturing him, like, lassoing him, and then pulling him off. Load of crap. While we're on this bit, what do you think of? How do you think Kane looks as a killer? What do you think of Jacob Goodnight's design?
I can't take that name seriously. So again, in my quest for knowledge of this fucking piece of shit, I actually found out that it took them 2.5 hours to get Kane into his makeup for the film.
How?
I don't fucking know.
He's just wearing a shirt.
He's wearing a shirt, pair of pants, some boots that I'm sure James would love, and he's got his contact lens in, which he can do himself, obviously. There's one scene...
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. There's one scene where you see his hands and his nails, like they're obviously fake nails, so I imagine that took a little bit of time.
Oh, I guess, yeah. And he's got gross teeth as well, I think.
Weird teeth, but, I mean, he doesn't speak, so you could just get like a fake pair off Wish or something and whack him in. So that shouldn't take too long.
A pair of plastic Dracula teeth.
I would have preferred that. That would have been funny and weird. Do you know what?
Kane is like Leslie Nielsen's Dracula.
That's a film I would like to see. Realistically, Kane would have looked better without any makeup on, because he looks like grey and he looks shiny and he looks like he's got makeup on. Whereas he looks better when he's just wrestling. So just leave him how he is, because they fucked around with the colour anyway, so he looks worse because the saturation's just gone, and it's just, How do you feel about him, about his look and his weapon?
I think he looks shit, but I can't blame him for not doing much with him, because they did want it to be Kane, and so he's got to look like Kane. It's not like they could put a brand new mask on him or something like that, because this was intended to be a film about WWE wrestler Kane. Because he is. This Jacob Goodnight is. He's pretty much just Kane, like just a giant monster. So I guess I can't fault him too much for not doing anything interesting with him. But I mean, anything else would have been better than the way he looks. Just it looks terrible.
That's where I thought they were fucked from the beginning, because they're like, right, we've got this wrestler who is an absolute beast of a man. He's got this mad look. He's an okay actor, with his face and stuff when he's wrestling. We have got a load of money. Horror films are reasonably cheap to make. Let's just make a horror film with Kane as the main villain. Really good idea. But where they fuck it up is that just a big bald man isn't particularly memorable or scary. In real life it would be, I imagine, but compared to like your classic slashers, it's not great. And then, but they fucked up from the beginning because they couldn't have any way of making him look less like Kane. Just like you said, like he had to look like Kane because that was the whole point. But in doing that, Jacob Goodnight isn't particularly scary.
No, I agree. And they don't spend much time trying to make him scary. Like, there's just a bunch of kills, like really crappy looking kills, and that's...
Yeah.
There's no
build-up.
I don't think I've ever been less scared watching a film.
Yeah. It's like...
Or less interested.
Well, I'll be honest with you, right? 32 minutes into the film, I had to rewind it, honestly, about 12 times because I just could not concentrate. I was looking around the room. I was checking the time on my phone. I was looking at pictures that I've drawn. I was messaging you. And then I had to keep skipping back, and I realised it was around 32 minutes, and I watched that bit, honestly, about 12 times. And then on the last one, I still didn't know what was going on, but I just carried on anyway, because I was like, I can't. It's so funny.
Can't do it to yourself. I mean, you weren't missing much.
No.
God, this is like for a goldfish to watch this film. Nothing that happens previously matters in the next scene. It's like literally nothing. Oh God, as we'll get to something in a bit. Anyway, so we'll get to the next kill. So the female prison guard, is she a guard or like a social worker? Or she looks more like a teacher than a guard.
As I was struggling to concentrate on this film, I did at one point think, wait a minute, right? There's like 8 prisoners. Is it 8 of them? 8 prisoners, right? Potentially dangerous people. They are adults because they're adults, but they're young adults, And they're going to this place for 3 nights, but they've only got 2 members of staff. One of them's disabled and one of them's a woman, right? I'm not being funny, but those 4 dudes could like take out the male guy in no time. They could do awful shit to the woman. Like, I was so confused. I was like, are they school kids? I was like, I just could not figure out what was going on until I kind of clicked and realised that, they're prisoners, but this is like some random fucking My Name is Earl prison scheme that they've got going on.
My Name is Earl. I think it's meant to be like, they do say the lads are from county jail, which is like, I think county jail in the US is like a very dangerous place, but these guys don't look like they've come from there. This is like the children of rich parents. This must be like some country club jail that they're in. You can't tell me that the character of Michael hasn't got a millionaire software development dad, and he's just like a piece of shit. Anyway, all of them are like that. So the female prison guard, she goes off to find out what's happened to the kids, and in the lift, she gets... What does he do? He just teleports into the lift behind him. Like, one minute the lift doors are closed, the next thing he's in there with her. It's it's a music video. It's just
it's just cheap, lazy shooting, lazy writing, just to get him in the place that he needs to be. And it's what was funny though is like he drags her in and her leg gets trapped, and then because that pisses him off, he kind of flips her over and puts her head so her head gets crushed by it. But she's like a rag doll the way he does it. It's so weird.
I thought, oh God, here we go. He's going to like disable the lift and it's going to come straight down and like decapitate or crush her head or something like really cool like that. But nope, he just reaches in, plucks out her eyes a little gently, like a couple of olives. Just as if I didn't know by now. I figured out now that this was not going to be good. Right. So we've got the tattooed girl, Kira, Lita.
In the shower.
She's in the shower, and if you say to me that this is Gregory Dark's homage to Psycho because somebody's looking through the peephole, I'm going to drive to your house and knock you out.
You know for a fact that is exactly what it is.
It probably actually is.
It probably fucking is. It is.
So she's in the shower and she gets into a confrontation with Mike, who just wanders in, and they say something like she's his ex and he's part of the reason she's in jail. Like, she rolled over on him, ratted on him, so she got like a sentence, and that's why he's in jail as well. It's so crappy,
convoluted shite like that.
So Kira, who cannot stand being in the hotel with Mike, she decides she's going to escape the hotel through the kitchen, and while she's in there, Kane emerges from the dumbwaiter, and in a repeat of what he does to Richie, he just drags her up into the dumbwaiter and disappears. But now all the characters now know that Kane is out and on the loose. Yeah, this was stupid.
She's going to escape through that hole that the dog came in through. Do you remember that dog?
Yeah. Well, no, actually I don't. But
well, when they're like being introduced to the place by the woman, a stray dog just walks out of a hole in the wall and goes up and just walks up to one of them. And then she's like, she starts trying to feed it some of her vegan food. And then Michael, the arsehole, launches a bottle at the dog, or a can at the dog. And he's like, it's a stray dog, who gives a fuck? And that's the hole that she's going to escape through, because her mate says to her, the dog got in somehow, there has to be a way out.
Right. Well, there we go. I'm glad they were concentrating on the continuity for that one.
But the dog is also foreshadowing something that's going to happen later on as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that dog will be back. And he's bringing friends. So anyway, after Ty is the only one where he saw Richie getting dragged off, so he meets up with Frank and the rest of them. And he gives a description of the killer. Now, instantly, Frank realizes that the man who was kidnapping teens in the hotel is the guy that killed his partner and took his arm 4 years ago. He's instantly just, doesn't even question. He's like, it's him, Jacob Goodnight. In what might be
Jacob Goodnight,
the dumbest part of a 100% dumb, stupid film, Frank theorizes that Jacob Goodnight is keeping his victims alive because they have religious tattoos, because the blind girl from the start was kept alive because she had religious tattoos, and so does Kane. She has some of the fakest looking tattoos. Like, she's got this huge back piece which is like a big cross with like cherubs on it, and it just looks it's painted. It's like painted on.
It's being added to the bad film tattoo Hall of Fame.
I will say though, it does look better. In the film, this film is entirely CGI, but I'm glad that they painted that on, because have you ever seen CGI tattoos in film and TV?
No, I don't think so.
Have you not?
Nah, I can't think of any.
So in the TV show Mayans, a couple of the Mayan dudes have got these CGI, the word Mayans tattooed across their forearm, and it just looks so bad. It's awful. So upon setting out to rescue Kira and gain his revenge for his deceased partner and his missing arm, Frank is killed mere seconds later when a swinging hook comes through the ceiling, impales him through the lower jaw, and drags him up into the ceiling like a xenomorph tail. I actually face-palmed. Like, why bring him back?
I know.
And have him be like, I'm so traumatized by what happened, but I'm going to get my revenge. And then he just dies. Do you know what? It's because the people making this film could not give a single shit. That's what it is.
No, they couldn't. They really couldn't. And also later on, when we get to the twist, something about that guy is explained, which makes this make less sense, because he should be the main he should be the protagonist. He should be the one who saves all these kids who can't look after themselves and whatever. It's just, but he gets killed off.
No, that would require like a brain and some plot structure.
That would require the most basic of writing skills.
You don't even have to have him. You don't even have to have him survive the film. Just have him go till the end at least.
Yeah,
sacrifice himself to save people. No, he just goes out like an absolute loser. It's just instant bomb.
Fucking hell.
Right, so we got Latino James Franco and the animal rights girl, the dog Freya, go for a bang. And because the hotel has a strict no fucking policy, Kane has rigged up the bed with wires that go down into his lair and jingle a little bell whenever somebody's having sex.
His bonk bells.
He's like, not today, motherfuckers! And he just emerges through this two-way mirror and chases James Franco and the animal rights girl into a closet where they seem pretty safe because they're there and they're like, oh god, he's after us. And he just tries the doorknob gently. And that's it. There's nothing else happens, and they stay silent and they hide behind a shelf. And they're like, right, okay, we got to get out of here. So I thought they were pretty safe in there because he literally just tried the doorknob once, and that was it. They didn't hear him. They didn't know he was there. So they decided to take the rather drastic move of tying this giant fire hose around her waist and slowly lower her down about 8 stories to quote unquote safety. And I was like, yeah, this situation didn't require such extreme measures, really, did it? So anyway, so as she's getting lowered down gently, softly, she ends up being pulled back up. As she looks up to the window, she sees Jacob Goodnight pulling her back up to certain death. So she can't go either way. She can't go up and she can't go down. And she's screaming, "Let me go! Let me go! Let me go!" And he obliges and he lets go of the hose and she plummets. I don't know. Does she land in a greenhouse? Through this glass? She just
ends up hanging, doesn't she?
Yeah, but she falls through like a load of glass and she cuts her wrists and she drips blood everywhere. And in a ironic twist, because she is the animal rights activist the dog Freya, who set free all this pack of wild dogs from the pound. These dogs then just turn up. They get a taste of blood, and they just mutilate her to death. And, ironic, it's definitely the most bizarre what-the-fuck death of the film. This pack of wild dogs comes out of nowhere.
It was a right swing.
What the hell?
you can tell that this was just written by, probably written by either a bunch of different people who are just throwing ideas into the hat and just going like, what are we going to do today? And it's picking out, it's like, death by dog. And it's like...
that episode of South Park where they slit the throat with a chicken and throw it on the Wheel of Fortune to decide what's going to happen? It's like that, It's like the South Park manatees making up Family Guy jokes. Like just getting the balls with the situation. Remember the time I went on a date with Gary Coleman?
You think that's bad?
I can't believe we sat through this film. I
nearly didn't.
Yeah,
I nearly didn't. I watched it in 2 halves. I got about 40 minutes in and I turned it off and I went to sleep because I've been watching 1883 recently and I was dying to watch the rest of that. And I was like, I've got to watch fucking See No Evil instead. I've avoided this film for nearly 20 years.
Oh, God, this was my suggestion as well.
It was, you bastard.
Oh, no, I could have been watching I Know Who Killed Me.
that was a close second, which we should cover at some point. If we have to
secretly like that film. I think that film's pretty cool.
I saw it when it came out, or a couple of years after, so I can't really remember if it was actually any good, but I remember liking it. I just remember thinking, this is like Twin Peaks, because it's like doppelgangers, the Blue Rose. It's well like Twin Peaks,
And Art Bell's in it as well, and I fucking love Art Bell.
I'll tell you what, if we ever do any bonus episodes like this again, can we please do that one?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'd love to cover it. I wish we had done... I wish you'd put your foot down. Right, let's push on. So Richie and Kira are still alive and trapped by Kane. Kane rips out Richie's eyes to add them to his eye jar collection, but he cannot bring himself to do it to Kira because he puts her in the shower and then pervs on her tattoo and scrubs her down, and we get flashbacks to his backstory where he's doing it, his religious mother is doing it to him, and who could care? Who could possibly care? He goes on another rampage. He tracks down Mike and the blonde, and they get attacked by Kane, and he captures the blonde girl Is it Zoe, the shoplifter, I think? I don't
know.
That
Anastasia-looking motherfucker with those sunglasses. That Naomi Watts-looking motherfucker with the Anastasia sunglasses.
And he shoves a very obviously 2005 cell phone, like a brick phone, down her throat, asphyxiating her, and she dies. And this, to me, this tells you how joyless this entire film is, because they didn't have the phone ring from inside his stomach or throat. And that's just... You'd have to do that. And when it didn't happen, I thought, right, that's it. 100% fuck this film. I was off the train anyway, but that's it now.
They could have done it so you see a faint, like light from the screen come through her skin as well.
Yeah. There was so much you could have done with that, but no.
Yeah, that would have been so good.
Gotta keep it gritty and real.
Because earlier on, she phones her sister on that phone and she says, "Call me on this number." That would have made perfect sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking hell.
It's even it's ringing as he's shoving it down her throat. Right, so we've got 3 survivors. We've got Ty, Mike, and the other girl. We've also got Kira as well, but she's tied up. So the other 3 who are free decide to face Kane head on at the elevator. They hear him coming. They think, right, here he comes. And he performs the old switcheroo, and he doesn't come out the elevator. He just bursts through a wall and attacks them on the inside. Ty and the girl escape through the roof panel of the elevator. They discover Kane's dollars and eye jars room. What the hell is this room like? He's just glued a load of money all over the walls, and it's just full of jars of old eyes. Like, what?
Maybe
this is where the safe is.
Maybe it's because money's evil.
Money is the root of all evil.
Yeah, and the eyes seeing the evil.
Oh, and if you have your eyes taken out, you can't see the root of evil. Right. Well done, Gregory Dark. Oh, you old rascal.
Maybe this film's deeper than we thought it was.
Yeah, definitely.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And actually, I just thought of something now. So, Ty gets tasered in the throat by Kane, and he gets crushed to death against the wall with the very safe that he was trying to crack.
Ironic. Yeah. All the deaths are ironic because the girl with the phone, she is addicted to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Richie. Richie, he used to go around pulling people's eyes out, and then that happened to him. Oh.
Yeah, that's really why he was in juvie or prison or jail or wherever he was. But
we have given this too much thought. Oh God! And by this point in the film, when this next scene happened, I wanted to pull out my own eyes because fucking Mrs. Voorhees twist. So there was at the start of the film, the woman overseeing the refurb of this hotel is an old woman called Margaret. She works for a museum or something. I don't give a fuck. She is actually a villain. She is Kane's mother. She abused him growing up Norman Bates style. She'd lock him in cages, play with his dick.
Masturbate.
Into God's purifying hand. And they lured Frank to the hotel as revenge for shooting Kane 4 years ago. And
She used to put him in a cage and flick the bean at him. It shows her doing it.
Fucking.
So yeah,
this
is what we were talking about earlier, right? She reveals the reason she set this all up and got this all worked out was so that... Is his name Frank? Is it Frank? Can I call you Frank? It is Frank? Right, so she reveals that the whole plan, the whole setup was to get him there so that they could finally kill him because he failed to kill him all those years ago and because he hurt Kane. So because of this reveal, it means that we have absolutely no story satisfaction of them getting revenge on him because he just kills him randomly with a hook and a chain and you never see him again. So
I know. You think he keeps other people alive to torture them, but he doesn't do that with Frank.
Yeah.
The man who he's supposed to be getting revenge on.
At least capture him with the hook thing and then keep him tied up somewhere so that she can reveal that she is his mum to him.
But no, she just explains it all to this random girl who's like, I don't give a fuck. What
she's terrified in a cage. She's just I don't care.
Literally just telling the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
This is some of the worst filmmaking I have ever ever seen.
I imagine, because I imagine you guessed that she was going to be his mum, like, straight away. As soon as she had any involvement past the introduction, it's like she's obviously going to be his mum, and she's the one who we've heard being abusive and weird and religious towards him and all that shit.
Yeah, I didn't twig that up until she opened the door to the cage room, and then I thought, fuck, I know what's coming. As soon as I saw her standing, I thought, oh no. And you know what? They have the nerve to like do a bit of a fake out. She walks up to the cage, and the girl in the cage is like, help me. And then, why aren't you helping me? And I thought, oh God. The nerve of this fella trying to build tension with...
Yeah, I know. Fucking hell.
Anyway, out of nowhere, Kane gives us a last-minute Darth Vader face turn, and he throws Mother Palpatine onto a conveniently placed wall spike.
Yeah, I cheered.
I think
I cheered for that. I was like, hell yeah, that's going in the books. That one. I've got to add one to the list that we're never going to do. But hell yeah. I loved it. That was my favourite part of the film.
And that's it. Yeah. So Kane has now redeemed himself for all the murders he committed, and he apologises and reforms his ways, and that's the end of the film. Oh no, he's just done his face turn, killed his mother, but he's still evil. He's still trying to massacre these teens. Like, it's not even like a Frankenstein moment where he gets to die in the fire and he's partially redeemed himself. No, he's still just trying to murder him. Fucking.
Yeah, it's not even like Darth Vader levels of face turn. It's like it's a double turn, isn't it? It's a Big Show double turn, and
what turn in face? They immediately turning heel.
Yeah, exactly. So he picks up Lita and he takes her to, I assume, his bedroom, somebody's bedroom. Who fucking cares? And then he is in a trance and he's stroking her, and then
the other girl,
Ric Flair, turns up and with a gun that she hasn't checked whether it's got any ammo, and holds it directly to his face, and the clicking of the gun wakes him up. And then
I know. And this was the go on.
I was fucking well up for this bit. Kane gets both women double choked by the throat. I was like, double choke slam, please! Like, just fucking do it. Like, can you imagine that? Just
choke slam him like they're fucking Kai and Tai.
Exactly. That would have been so fucking good, but no.
I'm gonna try and play a bit of devil's advocate, because I always try and look for the good in these bad films. I did like the scene where she goes up to him, puts the gun point blank to his head, and it clicks, and he realizes what's happening. I did think that was the only piece of good storytelling film, just the way it looked. I thought it was pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, what's that? 5 seconds? 90-minute film. Ugh.
Yeah. And then we have another surprise face turn as well from our resident abuser and bully and drug dealer and whatever the hell he is. Rich boy, Nepo baby.
Who?
Well, we have to care because this literally changes the entire film, because he turns up and helps them defeat Kane.
Yeah, so he goes all... this is Mike now, the big piece of shit from the film. He turns up with a steel pipe and he goes all Tommy Doyle on Kane, beats him to death. And he... not to death, but he beats him very severely. And he hits Kane in the back of the head, and it leaves a hole in the back of Kane's head with maggots and worms and all this gross necrotic tissue. So is he a zombie now? What the fuck is going on?
I don't care.
So
I don't care.
So the three of them, Mike, Kira, and the other girl, they run a train on Kane, a finisher train, and they beat the crap out of him in this room, and they shove him out the top floor with a running chair push, like a wooden chair. Out he goes. Is it what do they put in his eye? They shove something into his eye because he's holding on Mufasa in The Lion King.
He's holding on. He's got a spike through his little finger here, but he's got a spike through this hand. They think he's fallen, but because of the spikes, he lifts himself back up. And then
so they jam something in his eye. Is it a chair leg or a pipe or? It's
a pipe, I think. But I thought that. Do they do it into him, or does that happen as he's falling? I can't remember.
No, two sort of things. They do it to him, so he's got the pipe in his eye as he's hanging off.
Yeah.
Somebody runs that into him. Then he falls, and this is the worst looking CGI I've ever seen. This fall. This was like Keanu fighting Hugo Weaving in the Matrix. 1,000 Hugo Weavings in the Matrix bad.
Yeah.
Kane plummets to his death from the top floor. It just looks terrible. Just terrible. Like, so when we covered Hollow Man and Kevin Bacon falls down the elevator shaft.
Yeah.
To his death. And it looks really cool.
Yeah.
This is 6 years later, and it just looks like that.
And then
he crashes and go on. Tell me what happens next to him.
He hits the floor and he lands on a spike, piece of glass, whatever it is. It's sticking up, and it goes through his back, and we get a Mortal Kombat style zoom in to his heart. Is it his heart? To show that his heart has been pierced by this conveniently placed, let's call it a spike. Ground spike, yeah. Which
his heart has been pierced by a Cool Island song. So Kira, Michael, and the other girl leave through the lobby. It's implied that Michael is now somehow redeemed because he could have abandoned both girls, but he came back for them. And literally, smash cut to the credits. Boom! That's it, straight out there. You don't get a final teaser of Kane opening his eye. Any kind of basic. They give all the tropes, but they leave that one out. One that would have been like a little bit interesting. No, just cuts right there with them walking out the lobby. It's literally not even like a closing shot. It's just
it's awful.
But then, what did I expect?
How? Right. This is my question. When the credits hit, this was my biggest question. How were there 3 survivors in this fucking film?
I know. And how was Mike one of them? Like, from the start, I was thinking, well, at least he might have an interest in death and I'll be satisfied.
Yeah.
No, he gets to live.
Yeah, like him, Lita, and her friend. Like, those 2 girls, because they were like friends from the start. She had shown good friendship towards her. Lita had gone through a lot of stuff. But this guy surviving, like, it should have been that the cop, prison guard, saving the Lita girl. Maybe her friend as well, if you want to be nice. But, fucking hell. 3 survivors in a horror film with, like, 9 people in it. It's absolutely mental.
Right. Do you know what? I'm going to give you a fact about this film now. So this piece of shit cost $8 million to make, yeah?
Fucking hell. Yeah.
Lifetime gross, $15 million, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to know some films that See No Evil made more money than? Some horror films that See No Evil outgrossed?
Yes, please.
So this film made more money than My Bloody Valentine, Jason X. Okay. I mean, Jason X, that's surprising, really, because Jason is a franchise. I know they were terrible by this point, but you'd think Jason X would have beat this.
Yeah, definitely.
Halloween 3 made less money than See No Evil.
Really?
Halloween 5 made less money than this film. I mean, that's not surprising.
No.
And all 3 of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequels, the first 3, so 2, 3, and 4, made less money than this film.
Jesus Christ. That was rough. That was hard. That was
talking about that was hard. Watching it was worse, but talking about it was very difficult. This film actually also has a sequel.
It does, and that's what we'll be covering on our next one.
We are going to have to cover it, because I can't leave it.
We'll have to.
I can't leave it. So looking at the date on this sequel, it came out in 2014. So it seems like a long time to wait to make a sequel to this film. I mean, if you think if they were going to make a sequel, it'd be like a 2009. Seems like the genre had moved on by 2014.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe it's got a different style to it. Maybe it's got what kind of style were they doing in 2014?
Maybe it's going to be like really cool and retro 80s, like It Follows.
Yeah, maybe that'd be sweet. Speaking of like what the style of the film is, so the guy who made it, obviously, he said his influences were classic slasher films, and obviously you can see that because he's ripped off Friday the 13th, basically, hasn't he? Like with the whole big, bold monster with his mum who controls him and all that shit. And he's done a little homage to different things. But he's also done it in the style of that era. So it's like very Saw looking with the grainy shit, the saturation, and the really quick cuts with like weird sound effects that I just cannot stand.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I hate to, like, shit on people's art because maybe this is the best the guy could do. And maybe Vince McMahon sat and watched it and went, now this is a great movie. You know, he's like, because he doesn't know. He just sees a big, bulky, muscly man and he's like, that gets him going and that's enough for him. But
Vince McMahon, yeah.
I wouldn't want to shit on someone's art, but I just feel like it was lazy and I don't feel like,
I can't call this art. This is mass-produced, absolute money-spinning garbage. It's just awful. It's just got no creative merit to it at all. It's the least scary film I've ever seen, and this is what people who don't watch horror films think a horror film is. Like, lazy tropes, like NPC characters, like bad effects, just zero effort. This was like mass-produced, churned out shite, basically.
It was.
It's not even like so bad it's good you can have a laugh at it. It was just so bad it was unwatchable. I'm struggling to come up with anything positive to say about this film.
When we covered Resurrection and I watched that for the first time in a long time, I really enjoyed it because it was so bad that it was good. And Busta Rhymes was awful, but he was great at the same time. And this has got a very similar kind of theme to it, hasn't it? A bunch of people trapped in a house with a monster. But it wasn't even like fun. It wasn't even so bad that it was good, like you just said. So, this was a struggle. This one.
Quickly going back to Vince McMahon, though, what do you know? I remember the old rumor what he wanted for this film. Have you ever heard the story of what he wanted Kane's character to have?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna quote. I've got it up here now. So I'm gonna quote Dan Madigan, a former WWE writer, recently recalled how Vince McMahon suggested a bizarre idea for a movie scene involving legendary superstar Kane. Kane portrayed Jacob Goodnight in See No Evil in 2006. At one point in the WWE-produced film, Kane's character held a woman hostage and forced her to watch as he tore a man's eyes out. R.I.P. Richie. Madigan said that Vince originally wanted the hostage scene to feature a 3-foot penis. So I'm going to quote. This is a direct quote from Madigan now. Vince wanted a scene where this girl's trapped upstairs and there's a makeshift cage, and the Jacob Goodnight character unzips his pants and a 3-foot penis flops out. I don't know why Vince thought that would be a good idea. He was adamant on having this scene. I don't know. Did the penis talk? Did it detach? I don't know what he thought.
I've not heard that
according
before.
To Madigan, according to Madigan, the movie's producers were too chicken shit to say anything to McMahon about the outlandish idea, and he eventually raised concerns himself because he did not think the scene made any sense. Vince McMahon, ladies and gentlemen. Vince McMahon.
Would you like some interesting facts of the week?
Well, I think the 3-foot penis was enough, but yeah.
That was great. That was better than anything I'm going to tell you, because mine aren't interesting facts, they are shit facts. So, play the jingle. Okay. Glenn Jacobs has stated that the best thing about making this movie, due to the hectic amount of travelling as a professional wrestler, was the opportunity it gave him to sleep in the same bed for 2 months. Oh, isn't that nice? Oh.
Yeah.
I wonder if you went to bed every night and said, "Good night, Jacob." Glenn Jacobs. Okay. The hook and chain was initially going to be done through CGI, but Glenn Jacobs became so proficient with said hook and chain that it was all done live instead. Wow, well done, Glenn.
Bollocks, I don't believe that at all. Who wrote this trivia? Was it Kane?
Well, yeah, maybe. Oh, this is actually alright, actually. In the room with all the money pasted to the walls, every single bill has had the eyes cut out.
That's pretty cool. But
yeah, I mean,
you don't see any of that shit, though. So.
Yeah. That's like Shit.
It's possible you did see it, actually. It's just it cut away from everything so quickly, I couldn't notice anything.
Yeah, but also it's just stupid because it's like, why would he... I mean, maybe that's what he's doing in his free time, when he's not murdering people with a hook.
I don't realise.
Yeah. It was mentioned in some interviews that Glenn Jacobs' co-stars were a little uneasy around the 6'7" tall man. Fangoria magazine mentions the director having to ask Kane to remain seated during cast introductions, since one of the women who only came up to his sternum wouldn't come near him.
I watched the video. I remember at the time, I watched it again today, but I watched it at the time. They brought the cast onto Monday Night Raw.
Did they?
Yeah, two of the girls and the guy that plays Tyler. And they were basically... Todd Grisham, the announcer, he's like, what was it like working with Kane on a movie set? And they're like, really, they're like, oh, it was awful. He was really moody and mean, and the only time he was happy was during the torture scenes where he was killing people. And then the guy that plays Ty, is like, he mentions the date, May 19th. He's like, May 19th, the film comes out on May 19th. That's the release date, May 19th. And then obviously turns around, Kane is stood over him, towering over him, and launches him into the Raw stage. More entertaining than this actual film, so...
Yeah, I'm going to find that and watch it later.
Give me some more trivia. Give me some of the good stuff.
The dust and flies were both rendered through CGI animation.
Just like everything else.
The film was shot in 32 days. Jacob Goodnight's name is never mentioned in the film. It fucking is, actually. He shouts his name. It was originally included in a monologue by Stephen Vidler, but the scene ran too long and it was absent-mindedly cut out. The overcast sky with clouds in the opening scenes was done digitally. All the scenes on the bus were done against the green screen. Glenn Jacobs ate blood oranges and listened to the Marshall Mathers LP every day on set to keep him in the correct mood. Fucking hell.
What?
Blood oranges.
Fuck off, you're making that up.
I'm not, I'm reading it right now.
So what, Glenn Jacobs is what, 13-year-old me?
Can you imagine him listening to the real Slim Shady on set?
I can imagine him sitting there listening to the Ken Knaff skits.
Yeah, when he was getting ready to like rub his groin in that cage scene. He's just like,
I don't. Oh my god, I don't believe any of these.
I'm not making them up, but these are.
Oh no, I don't believe you are. I think Glenn Jacobs has been on IMDb. He's logged in with his IMDb account.
He's editing them. Yeah. The character of Michael was a neo-Nazi named Machine in an earlier draft of the script. Jacob Goodnight had no eyelids in an earlier draft of the script. Screenwriter...
Fuck off, these aren't real.
14 people found this helpful. 2 people thumbs downed it. Who is going on IMDb and fucking rating these?
Who didn't find that helpful? You know what? This is very unhelpful.
Do you know what? Someone else didn't like this either. Fucking thumbs down, mate.
I agree with them.
Right, I'm just going to run through some of these dead fast. Screenwriter Dan Madigan also wrote the novelization for this film. Fucking hell. In a form of method acting.
The novelization?
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
I've got to get hold of a copy of that. I have to try and find that.
I'm going to find it. I've got a knack for these things. In a form...
I'll have to do a book report on it.
I ain't reading that shit, fucking hell. In a form of method acting to become Jacob Goodname, Kane began to target wrestlers' eyes in the ring, leading to his trademark Popeye move circa 2005 to 2007. I don't remember that. Williams was initially going to be featured more as a heroic character in earlier drafts of the script. However, the filmmakers decided to kill off Williams fairly early in the movie in order to add an element of unpredictability to the story. There you go. There's your answer for why they killed off the antagonist.
They had an idea, did they? Yeah, a bit of unpredictability, was it? Oh yeah.
Fucking
bit of shock factor. Yeah.
Yeah, they planned that shit all along. Director Gregory Dark originally wanted Jacob made Goodnight, I was going to call him Midnight then, Jacob Goodnight, to kiss his mother right before he kills her. In a mid-credit scene, a stray dog comes and urinates in Jacob's eye hole. To be honest, I didn't let it play for that much longer. It was off.
Me neither. As soon as I credited it, like literally it said cast, and I was like, off.
As soon as the credits hit, I fucking threw my laptop at the wall next to me. In the DVD commentary, Glenn Jacobs, the actor who played Jacob in Night, vows to get revenge on the dog. Fuck in hell. And that is our shit trivia of the week.
Right. I've basically given my final thoughts. I imagine yours are going to be the same as mine, but tell me what you thought of this film. This film creates a bad name for horror. This is an attempt at getting as much money as they can from as little effort as they can. The writing was, as you say, Chat GPT, NPC levels of... It was like the same kind of writing that they would do for the commentary on the old SmackDown games, like The Rock has a sensational suplex. It was undoubtedly like the kind of thing that ruins like the chances for up and coming horror directors and writers and stuff, because this just doesn't do anything but push the genre back. Yeah. And the fact that it cost a lot of money to make and made money back, and it's just like it's everything that's wrong with the film industry. And I can't say anything bad about the actors because they tried, with the writing that they had. Yeah, I won't. Yeah, I can't knock the actors. Like they were putting in the effort. They put the effort in. I mean, Kane did a pretty good job with what he had to work with. Yeah, I'll say Kane wasn't bad either. Yeah, I think everything behind it, the making of it, was just left a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah, exactly. I've got a terrible taste in my mouth right now. My rating out of 10, I'll give it 1, and that's a generous 1 because I think that I would feel bad for the actors. That's about it. And the people, I'm with you. Some people put a lot of effort and hard work into this film, and they get the 1 for their effort. The rest of the film is shite. So this must have been absolutely butchered in the editing room, and fuck those editors. I can't imagine the film itself was any good before it went in, but like they've made it in their minds. I think they wanted to make it hyper slick and really cool. And for me, it gets a half a star because just like you said, I can't fault the actors, and they were trying, but they were given nothing. They were given absolutely nothing. Yeah, and so fuck this film. I'll say. Absolutely. Would you agree with me and say this is the worst film we've covered on the podcast so far? I would say it's possibly one of the worst films I've ever seen. In my entire life, I would say as much as this is worse than Halloween H2O. Well, it's definitely worse than that, yeah. No. I would say... You don't understand how much I hate Halloween H2O. I do. I had to sit with you and talk about it, and I had to edit it afterwards and listen to it all over again. Yeah, I could have been worse, so... Yeah. But, despite not enjoying the film, despite, talking about how bad the film was, I really enjoyed doing this with you and having a laugh, and... So I would definitely join you for See No Evil too. I might even watch it in bed. Straight to DVD. Oh, was it as well? Was this in the cinema though? See No Evil. This was in the cinema. Imagine paying 10 quid for your ticket, another £5 for your popcorn, fuel to get there and back, valuable seconds of your life, and this is what you get: 83.5 minutes of pure shit. How many of those people who viewed it do you reckon were wrestling fans? I don't think you had to be particularly a wrestling fan to go and see this. I think the way horror was in the mid-2000s was just in a terrible, terrible state, and this is everything that's wrong with it. So I think it's just like a couple would have gone to the cinema not knowing what they were going to see, and they would have just chosen this by looking at the poster or whatever time they turned up. So I don't think this was particularly a must-watch for wrestling fans or horror fans. I think it was just, like you said, I feel like it choked up. A good film could have been in place of this, from a lesser-known director with lesser money, but because we live in a system where this kind of film gets released, then we just have to sit and watch this shite. Right, that's See No Evil in the books. We'll be back soon for See No Evil 2, The Return of Jacob Goodnight.
I hope that's quite a while away, because I don't think my heart can take it too early.
Right, thank you everybody for listening. That was See No Evil. This has been Dark Talk. We'll see you next time. Goodbye and good night.
Bye bye.